What's up, guys? Welcome to the Red Tape Podcast. I'm your host, Demerious. This is brought to you by For the One Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Progress, baby, but we're going to be conservative in how we move, because if I'm not conservative in how I move, it goes against my morals, it goes against my Christianity, but I'm going to be progressive in how I move because I think it's important to have change, man. God did some progressive things in the Bible to create change. He's like, man, where I was, I'm not there anymore. Let's keep moving. That's what we got to do in life, guys. Hey, y'all stay tuned. This Red Tape Podcast. We got some good topics for today. Well, I got one topic in mind. I think it's real good to give us something to consider. It's called The Apocalypse Now. Things to think about. Hey, y'all stay tuned. It's the Red Tape Podcast. All right, guys, let's get right to it. The apocalypse now, man. Y'all like, what does that mean? Hey, we are living in an apocalypse now. This is not the, what's that guy that directed The Godfather? I can't even think of his name. But this is the apocalypse now in America and what we see. And we got gun violence going on. We got a lot of that. We got a lot of discord in the country. People are wondering and aimlessly walking around in thought and mourning constantly because they think that President Trump is going to wreck the world. But they're not even worried about the world around them. They didn't even vote. They didn't do anything possible to help with the situation. And in fact, them throwing stones at President Trump as he continued to throw stones at the world, we have to not be distracted by that. Because there are real serious issues going on right in our community. If you step right outside, I'm sure you go right outside, you can see trouble. And if you don't see trouble, you know somebody that's going through something. If you don't know somebody that's going through something, you're probably going through something yourself, you know? So we got to consider that. We can't stop worrying about other people and start worrying about yourself. And I think that's the apocalypse now. Everybody know what the apocalypse means. I don't think it's the end of the world, but I think we're living in the end times as always. They was living in the end times 1,000 years ago. They were living in the end times as soon as Jesus ascended to heaven. The ending is coming. The end is near, and it's always near. So this we got to keep in mind, because the end is near is that your life. Like I say, you have 1 foot in the ground and 1 foot out of the ground. So what do we do to maximize what we have here on earth, the time that we have here on earth? I think the best situation that I've seen that reminds me of how you have to live with just this ferocity to go forward is the Bruce the Millions. Bruce the Millions. Remember that movie with Richard Pryor, where he had to spend $30 million in order to get the big money from his white uncle that he had. You know, he lived, he spent every day. He did all he could to get rid of the money, and he would make more money. That's what happened. We can do everything in our life to make the situation go away or to make the situation better, and then some wrench is thrown in it. And that's this life. But when you get the wrench, what do you do with it? Do you just allow it to just completely annihilate your situation or destroy it or just continue to hinder you? Or do you make the changes? What do you do? So that's why I call this apocalypse now, man, because for me, we got certain situations going on in America. Obviously, we got division, like I said, but there's a homeless problem in America and in certain areas. Remember when I went out to L.A. and I seen the situation, they got like Skid Row and all these different areas, and you see the homeless people. I mean, they bringing back diseases that haven't been around, that were completely removed from the American life, from America, period, that have come back stronger than ever because of homeless issues. Now, the government out there, you know, they're making rules where you can't, you know, the police officers can't remove these guys. They can't do anything because that's their place of living. That's where they dwell. That's where they live. So what can we do to help? Well, we got to relax the laws a little bit to give us some room to help these individuals. But if you don't live in California, you live in other parts of the world, and you don't have these type of laws, then you need to do what you can do to help those individuals. You got to volunteer. You got to help. I know some people don't like dealing with homeless. They're like, oh, God. He did this, he did that. And there's the issue with that because like I've spoken about before, there is a mental health problem in the world. It's always existed. I think we just ignored it. But now as we see our veterans come back from, you know, horrific situations, now that we see people who are raised and they having these mental issues that they can't ever get over, or they having situations that create a mental issue for them that they can't get over, We have to be able to assist in helping them if they want the help. Now, some people do not want help, period. And there's nothing you can do to change that for them. It's just like the census. They have to count these people. And a lot of times they have to count some populations when the homeless people arrest them, because homeless people, a lot of times they homeless because they want to be there. But we have to be there to want to help them, because some people don't even know that they need help. I'm like that sometimes. You be like, you know what? I didn't know I needed help. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I appreciate it. That's how we got to act if you can. If you're in your right mind, say thank you for the help. But I think we're in apocalypse now because we have a homeless situation that's getting worse in America. And what are we doing about it? We're creating more laws to keep more people homeless, to keep more people, keeping people from creating more wealth. I think one way out of poverty is obviously you got to lend a helping hand, but you also have to be able to give if you can. You have to be able to give money. Money is necessary. You know what I'm saying? You can help all you can, but if you don't have the money, how can you make a change? How can you make that change? And then you have the situation here in Texas, which we all know about the gun situation. We all know about the people who tragically lost their lives over the last couple of weeks. And it's sad. It's unfortunate. And we got to pay and give respect to those who lost their lives, and make sure you can do all you can to assist those who are still here, who almost lost their lives. But every day is a battle for life. Every day is a battle for humanity. And that's why I wanted to call this Apocalypse Now, because I want you to understand how severe and how important it is each and every day to defend at all costs the right to live, and the right to live free, and the right to live with a free mind, more importantly. You can have all the freedoms and the rights given to you by the constitutions and the government, but unless you can free your mind, you're not free at all. So you're like, well, young brother, how you become free in your mind? For me, it's not simple, but there's a plan. His name is Jesus Christ. That's the plan that we can use to advance our minds, to help us recognize the dark places in our lives. That's the beautiful part about sunshine, man. When sunshine hit your plants outside, or hit the window, or it hit your bedroom window and wake you up, and you feel that sun touch your face, it's always a soft feeling. And it's just for the fall, because in the summertime, when that sun hit your faces, we be like, whoo, that's burning. But when that fall, you feel that breeze come in, it's a little cold. Then that sun come across your face and just touch it. That's how you got to be with people. You got to just come across gently, just rising it with time, patience. But when that light hits everything, there's still some dark places between the trees. There's still some dark places in your house. There's still some dark places in your life. And we got to get to those dark places in your garden. We got to get to those dark places in your house, because, especially in the garden, if that plant below the big plant don't get sunlight, then it's going to die. And there are some places that the sun need to touch so it can kill that bad thing. But there are some places covered up because of darkness that need to be touched so it can grow too. And if we keep this apocalyptic mentality of the end of the world, we should always be conscious of what's going on around us, but we also have to be aware of that we have the ability to change those situations. You have the ability to change the homeless population. We can't depend on the government to do it. We have to depend on each and every individual to do it. You help those when you can help those others who are in need. And you're like, well, I can't even help myself. Well, you can do two things. Like I said, you can do two things at once. You can help bring yourself up and give somebody advice to help them do the same if they choose to. But one thing I remember when I was in Qatar, man, they didn't have a homeless issue. Now, I don't know because they were sweeping them off the street. They're like, well, look, we're not going to do this. But I believe because they was employing those who may not have good jobs. I seen the older people who seemed like they didn't work. They were sweeping the streets. They were doing things like that. I think for once we, with the homeless population, are able to get them in facilities to help them change and be rehabilitated because of drugs, and some people that do have true mental issues, we can help them be rehabilitated first. Then we can supply them jobs second. Because there's a lot of dirty places in the world, a lot of dirty places in America. You see the trash blowing up against the fence and off the highway. You see all the trash in the median. You see the trash that blow up, underneath the bridges, in the overpass. There's plenty of work that can be done in America. And there's plenty of people to give work to in America. Now, that might not be the work you want to do, but it's a good starting place to equip those who don't have, not to keep giving those who don't have. We have to equip them so they can have, first of all, the right mind first and clear. And then we give them a job to do and a task. And then from there, who knows what they can become. But if we keep feeding the beast, then the apocalypse will happen sooner than later because we're feeding the beast. So that's how I feel like we can fix the homeless problem, man. I think there's a few solutions. Get them, first rehabilitate them, then give them jobs to help themselves. And then to help themselves, we can help create greatness. Because I know God's plan isn't for people to live in poverty. Now, it isn't for people to be wealthy, all people to be wealthy. But you can be wealthy and not have it in currency. Because having a job and living a minimalistic life, but living it to the fullest with your family and you're enjoying each other, and that's happiness. That's real wealth, happiness. But some people don't even know because they're not in the right state of mind to think about happiness because they just focus on the current situation. So we got to be that light for them to see that, look, you are more than what you are. And that's what I try to do every day when I come in contact with people. And hopefully y'all trying to do the same. So I just want to remind y'all that even though we're in a tough situation and things seem to be hard or seem like things are just going downhill fast, they're not. And the beautiful thing is when it is going downhill, we have the ability to change it. So I just want to put that on y'all minds today. Now, tomorrow I'm going to have a full-fledged 30-minute show, guys, for you guys with a lot of good topics. These are just some foods for thought because I want us to start thinking about what we can do. Write down what you can do to change the situation around you. I do it every single day except Sunday. I write down what I'm going to do to change the things around me. Education and knowledge. Gain knowledge every day. And get to know people too. That's a part of gaining knowledge. Is getting to know the diverse community around you. And diversity doesn't always mean color, but mindset. The different jobs we do. People are unique and they have a lot of things to offer. So that's how we can defeat the apocalypse that we now live in. The ending of the world. Now you can't stop it because it's going to happen eventually. But we can change the situation to make us have a happy ending. Who don't like a happy ending? I know some of y'all may not like, I don't like a happy ending. I like when it's just all chaos to the end. But not me. I like to see happy ending because I like to see success. I like to see people make it. Like, boy, I remember where you were, man. With a tear in your eye. But I see where you are now. Living testimony. That's what life's all about, guys. Hey, make sure y'all subscribe to the Red Tape Podcast. Make sure you check us out at www.fortheonemedia.com, guys. That's what it's all about. Like and share it. If you do, if you don't, then I'm going to stop doing it, okay? That's just it. That's just it, because I don't have time to waste. Hey, y'all have a good one, man. It's Demerious Nelson as always. It's the Red Tape Podcast. Peace.